Good morning. Week 5 is officially over as the Titans finally got to play a game after 2 weeks in which they were allowed to have actually 8,000 fans in attendance, which is kind of surprising being of all the COVID tests that were positives. But hey, they were negative now, and fans were allowed at Nissan Stadium. But today we're going to go over that Bills and Titans game, as well as some interesting news on Le'Veon Bell. So are you ready to get your fix? Well, what a disappointing game from the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen looked completely out of it and made too many mistakes. Before this game, Josh Allen had 1,326 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and only one interception. After this game, he had 1,589 yards, 14 touchdowns, and now 3 interceptions. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in this game. Not terrible, but those interceptions, he was too sloppy. Now, these are not bad stats by any means, but he did add 2 interceptions in which those throws that caused the interceptions probably should have never been made. The first one, I get, it bounced off the receiver, and it was an easy pick for Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler also had both of those picks. But this was a completely different Josh Allen from the first 4 weeks, and you could really tell by his body language that he was frustrated, okay? He was playing against a team that hadn't played a game in 2 weeks and got manhandled by the Titans, and the Bills should have taken this game with ease. I noted that last week. I remember, like I said, I thought the Bills would come away with a victory because this Tennessee Titans team was unable to practice. They had to do it. They had to do things at home to stay ready. But I guess, hey, resting their bodies helped tremendously because this Titans team looked really good. Like, they've never lost a step. I think their bodies were well rested, and they got the job done. Now, the Titans defense, they held the Bills to only 95 rushing yards. Now, this is a big problem for the Bills. They cannot run the ball to save their lives, just like the Chicago Bears. I don't know if this is Devin Singletary's fault, or the fact that Bills offensive line literally let the Titans blow by them almost every single run play. It was almost as if the Titans knew exactly when the Bills were going to run the ball, which tells me one thing. The Bills are completely relying on the passing game while trying to sneak a run in every now and then. It's kind of like that old Vikings team with Adrian Peterson. Once Adrian's on the field, you know they're running the ball. Otherwise, they're going to pass. It's something kind of like similar to that. And, the fact that they can't run the ball that well, it's something that needs to be worked on. To be going 4-0 into this game and still have no idea how to kind of utilize your running game, it's an issue, okay? And it needs to be figured out. Devin Singletary should be running for about 60 to 70 yards a game. And this season, he only has one game over 60 yards, in which he ran 71 yards against the Rams. So, this Titans defense made the game really tough on the Bills, and it showed. Ryan Tannehill played a great game, and it looked easy for him, okay? It could be due to the fact that Tre'Davious White, their Bills' number 1 cornerback, wasn't playing. But still, to go 21 for 28 with 195 yards and 3 touchdowns is special, okay? He picked apart that Bills defense like it was nothing, and he was even able to rush 4 times for 42 yards and a touchdown. What more do you want? So 4 total touchdowns over a pretty solid Bills defense, or what should be a solid defense, is pretty good, if you ask me. So it was also really nice to see A.J. Brown back in action. He had 7 receptions, 7 receptions on 9 targets, 82 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown was a really, really nice grab. He was open. And my God, did you see the strength of Derrick Henry? This guy literally threw Josh Norman across the world. His stiff arm is just unbelievable. And it makes sense that he could throw a grown man that far with how big he is. And after the game, he kind of made a comment where he's like, I've been doing a lot of curls in the gym, but this guy is a freak of nature. He's big. I wouldn't want to tackle him. A lot of people really wouldn't want to tackle him, but he threw Josh Norman like he was a fly. It was nuts. Now, this game just goes to show that even with missing 2 weeks of actual practice instead of training at home, that the Titans are still the real deal, okay? They're 4-0. They're rolling. The Bills were 4-0 also, and things could change, but they're rolling right now. This is not by any means a bad team, and neither are the Bills. They just have some things to figure out. However, though, the Titans actually have a passing and running game, which gave them the edge this week. If they had both things 100% knocked down, They knew what they were doing. Their defense played solid. The Bills only could pass the ball, and even then they struggled at times because Josh Allen had a couple passes where, he probably shouldn't have made. So the Bills have a little work to do on that running game. Their defense needs to step up a little bit. Just because Tre'Davious White was out doesn't mean you go out there and you lay an egg. You have to continue to play good. I think Tremaine Edmonds also was trying to bring that defense together, but he just couldn't do that job. So, like I said, Bills have a little work to do. Anyways, though, my top 3 performers for the Bills are TJ Yeldon, Stephon Diggs, and Isaiah McKenzie. For the Titans, I have 4 top performers. That's Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and then we got Malcolm Butler, who had those 2 interceptions against the Bills. So moving over to Le'Veon Bell, okay? He was released by the New York Jets last night after being unable to find a trade suitor. Now, this move is really, really interesting because now the Jets literally only have Sam Darnold as the entire team. I mean, yeah, you could say Jamison Crowder is a big part too, but it's Sam Darnold's making Jamison Crowder who he is at this moment, at least what I think and what I've seen. This was already a bad team, okay? And with getting rid of Bell, this is now a horrible team. This can only mean one thing. They're tanking, and it better not be for Trevor Lawrence because they would only ruin his career. And take in mind, you have Sam Darnold. He's not the issue. Your head coach is the issue. Your GM's the issue. Your defense is the issue. Your offense is your issue. You have Sam Darnold, and Jamison Crowder, don't get me wrong, he's a good receiver. He's not a number 1 receiver. Okay, you might be fine at the receiver position for now, but come on, this is a terrible team, okay? You can't just tank and take Trevor Lawrence and expect things to turn around because I'm telling you right now, you're going to be right back at the end of the division or at the end of the league. You'll be 32nd again in the NFL next year, even if you get Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry, he can probably win you a game or two, but with just how bad your team is, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. The Jets, they literally need help in every position except quarterback and maybe wide receiver. So, I mean, even running back now that they got rid of Bell. Bell was a receiving and running back. Yeah, he didn't do that good. I understand he's not that good. But you got to do something. You got to figure out something, and you can't go just for Trevor Lawrence. You have to fix your defense. Go for a linebacker. Go for a pass rusher. Do something like that. This team is really, really bad, okay? And I don't understand this move. But again, it's a business. It happens. So we'll see what the Jets are doing, if they're actually going to be rebuild or what the case is. I don't think I think Adam Gase should be fired because he's not that good. So, but hey, at least Le'Veon Bell is happy. I mean, this guy in 18 games, $28 million. I mean, it can't get better than that. 18 games and you make $28 million just because you got to switch teams all the time. So now I don't think, Le'Veon is that good anymore as he is super injury prone, but I do feel like he could perform better on another team that has that doesn't have a high school coach trying to lead a bunch of grown men just because Adam Gase he's terrible. I don't understand why he's the coach. Ryan Tannehill couldn't even win with him under Miami, and he's not even winning with the Jets. So a couple possible suitors, though, for Le'Veon Bell, at least in my mind, would be the Bills. Because, like I said, they need a running game, and that's where and they are coached well. So Le'Veon Bell could end up on the Bills if they have that cap space. Another team will be the Chicago Bears, in which they lost Tariq Cohen, and now they use 3 different running backs. They even have Cordero in that mix in a variety of ways. But if they bring in Le'Veon Bell now, they could probably focus on just having, using 2 running backs and bringing in Cordero as a wildcat formation kind of thing. So I think the Bears, this would help their running game and passing game because Le'Veon Bell, like I said, he's a good receiving back. He's not a great one. He's all right. And he can get the job done. Like I said, he needs the right team. And then one last team that I think Le'Veon would actually accept being on would be the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, so they could add some more firepower to that offense with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. And they already have a solid defense that, is slowly starting to get better. I mean, this would also help them in their division, so they might be able to put up a fight against the Seahawks, 49ers, and Rams. I think the Seahawks are their biggest battle right now. The Niners are injury-riddled at the moment, and they're not looking that good. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo got benched. The Rams are hit and miss here and there, and when they could be doing something. So I think Arizona Cardinals are sitting pretty if they were to get Le'Veon Bell. Now, out of these 3 teams, though, I think the most logical one will be the Bears. Just because they don't have a solid foundation at running back. So I think the Bears would be a really good suitor. I've heard other people saying the Patriots. I don't think that'll happen at all. The Steelers, I maybe a good second string running back, but right now I think Bills, Bears, Cardinals, and I think the main one would be the Bears to go after him. But like I said, I guess we're gonna find out eventually, and hopefully he does get signed. Well, that's going to end our discussion today, as now we await week 6 of the NFL season. We're getting there. We have 10 games, or actually 11 games counting this week. With a couple of much anticipated matches like the Texans versus the Titans. That's a division battle. And you got Browns Steelers, another divisional battle, as well as now you got Brady versus Rodgers, in which I think Rodgers is probably going to come out with the win, being that the Bucs have a little bit of they have holes in both their offense and defense, and the Bears exposed them. So this should be a fun week. So just be ready for these kind of games. It's going to be awesome to watch Brady Rodgers battle it out and see what happens there. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.